everyone, my name is Claudia and today I want to show you how I sublimate mouse pads, how I get very vivid, nice, bright colors that are just going to pop out right on your mouse pad. Stay with me, I would like to show you. Okay, everyone, now the first thing that I'm gonna be doing here is to size or to measure my mousepad. And what I do right here, I measure right to the size because I'm gonna print to size. And what does that mean? Printed to size means that your image is the same size as your mousepad or whatever you are printing, that whatever image that you're printing, that you put it on whatever garment that you're using. In this case, well, it's a mousepad. So I want my image to be the same size as my mousepad. So I'm gonna measure my mousepad, that way I can be accurate with my image to make sure that it's the same size. All right, so I have 9.5 right here, 9.5, and I have 9.5 by 8. Right on the line, 8 right on the line, okay? So I don't know if you can see it right there, but the 8 is kind of right on the line. So I might do 8.2 or 8.1, but I don't want it a lot bigger because then my image is gonna be out of my frame, out of my mouse pad, and then part of the design, part of the graphic is gonna be out. And we probably don't want that. So I'm gonna print right to the size or 1 or 2 lines a little bit bigger. Okay, let's print. Let's find our word and let's measure and let's make sure that my image is the same size as this. Okay, I am in Word right here, and I like to print from Word for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is my rulers right here. 1 and here, right to the side. Now you might think, well, there are other platforms that show the rulers as well. And yes, you are right. There are other platforms that will show you the rules too. But the other reason why I really like printing from Word is because once you have your image here, right on your Canva, right on your page, it is very easy for you to size it to the exact size that you need. And I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to have, oh, that's my heat press. So I'm going to go and turn it off in just a moment. So I want my picture from this device and I'm going to put it in here. There we go. And now it's telling me that I cannot move it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to layout, wrap text in front of text or behind, it doesn't really matter. And now you see, now I'm able to move it around. Okay, I have my image here and now I am able to move it around. As I told you, I'm going to turn it. That way I have a better idea of how I'm going to be doing this. I am going to make it smaller here so I'm able to crop it and get the whole thing. Because you see this space right here? I don't want it because I don't want any confusions when it comes to the sizes or to the sizing of my image. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to picture format and then I'm going to go to crop right here, crop. And then these corners, you see how they are darker? I'm just going to push them all the way to the limit of my picture right there. And then I'm going to do the other one too. Look for the one that I want and push it all the way. There you go. And now crop. And there you go. You see how I don't have that space anymore. Okay, so now I'm going to go here and I'm going to size my image to what I want. So I want 8 by 9.5, as we said. So 8 And then you're gonna say, well, how do I know? Okay, I'm gonna go to picture format, and then you see here, if I move one like this, it's going to move the other one as well. It's gonna be affecting both if I do the sizing in here. However, if I go here and I go to the dots, okay, I can go in and out and size the image to whatever I want. I look at this, it only moved this one. So I want 9.5. So I'm gonna go 9.6, 9.4, and I'm gonna do one more, 9.55, and then I want 8. So I'm gonna grab my one of those circles, and I'm just gonna go here, and I'm gonna do probably 8.1 or 8.2. Be really careful here. There we go. All right, so now I'm gonna go back to home, and I'm gonna be printing. And for that, I'm going to show you here the size of my design that I'm going to be printing. So, okay, so now I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go to no layout, layout, and then I'm gonna do the sizing. I'm gonna be printing from legal size, which is 8.5 by 14. So then what I do, I don't want my image to start right with the printer. So you don't want that, because then sometimes you get a little smear or a little ink mess right on the edge, and it's going to affect your printing. So what I usually do, I try to leave some space at the bottom if I can, and some space on the right on the beginning of the edge at the top. That way, when it comes to the printer, it feeds and then starts printing. It doesn't start printing right away, because as it's feeding, you want it to take the time to feed and then start to print. So that's the reason why I always like to leave a little bit of a space here if I can. All right, so I'm gonna check my measurements one more time. I have 9.55 and 8 point. I'm gonna do 8.2. My page is, that one is good right there. I make sure that I center my page a little bit, because I don't want it too close to the too close to the front, too close to the back. I don't want that. Okay, so now I have 9.6, which is good. It's a little bit tiny bigger than the size of my mouse pad. So when the time comes that it's already printed, it's gonna fit nice in this square or this kind of rectangle, and I'm not gonna have any big excess. If I center it well, my picture will be nice and center, because I'm taking the time to look at the measures here. Remember, if you play with your sizes in here, one size, this button is going to affect this one, and this one is going to affect this one. So in a way, it kind of, if you make one bigger, the other one is going to be bigger, or the other one is going to be smaller if you do the other one is smaller, because it's going to go in proportion, okay, in proportion. However, if you do it here from these dots, you are going to be expanding whatever side you want to expand or you want to make bigger. That is the difference, okay? That here, if you do it from these dots, you're only expanding, or you're only making bigger or smaller that edge, that side only. Or if you do it for this, is that side only, either your width or your length. If you do it from here with versus here, that it affects your whole picture because it goes in proportion. Okay, now let's do our printing. I'm going to file. I'm going to go to file here. I'm going to go to print, and then I'm going to choose my 15,000, and I'm going to check print properties. I'm going to do presentation. Okay, so now our next step is to print. So I'm gonna go to File here, and I'm gonna go to Print. I want my Epson ET 15000. I'm gonna go to Printer Properties, and I'm gonna pay attention here to what I select here. And my settings have to match my settings in my printer. It is very important that both parts are communicating in the same language. So now I have right here my paper here, legal size. I want paper tray, and I want presentation paper matte. I want high quality, and then I'm gonna go to more options. I want mirror image. Don't forget to mirror your image. And then I'm gonna go to customs right here, and I do RGB, Adobe RGB. I do brightness 3, contrast 4, saturation 4, and my density I do 6. Okay, 6 density. Okay. Adobe RGB. Okay, very good. And then I go to maintenance, and I make sure that my density matches the same number as I just clicked on the other. And I think I have everything. I just have to make sure that I don't print this bi-directional printing is somehow related to the speed and how much ink the printer is doing. So you want this off. You don't want to be checked. Okay, so mirror image, that's good. Okay, and then let's print. And it's just telling me that my margins are very small. Okay. Another thing that we should always do before we press our mouse pads is to pass the lint roll over to collect any dust that you don't want, because you don't want your sublimation print and your mouse pad. You don't want dust to be trapped in the middle that are going to affect your image. So you always should pass the lint roll, and also press your sublimation mouse pad for maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds to get rid of humidity. Okay, I have my heat press heating up right now, warming up. And what I'm gonna do right now is to cut my print to the size, so it's easier for me to center my my print right on my mouse pad. If I have this, sometimes it's not as easy to see where the center is, and I want to be able to see it. That way my image is nicely centered. All right, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but at least right at the edge. That way I have a better idea of where I'm placing my print. All right, and I'm just cutting around right here. I have my heat press heating up at 390 Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna do it for 50 seconds, 50 seconds, okay? So I'm gonna finish cutting here. Okay, and now I have my print a little bit right to the edge. Now what I'm doing, I am going to tape my image in a way that is going to be nicely centered. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna tape it right here so it's not moving. I'm gonna tape it to the paper too, so it doesn't move around. I don't want my ink to go in places where I don't want it. So I'm just making sure that it's nicely secured. I usually do, I mean, it's up to you. I usually tape it. Make sure that you protect your platter right here with butcher paper. That way you don't get it in your, no, you don't call it platter, in your plate, right here in your filling plate. You don't want it there. All right, so now that it's nicely secure right here, I'm gonna go and press it for 50 seconds, 390 Fahrenheit degrees. Okay, I have my butcher paper right here, and I'm gonna do 390 for 50 seconds, and let's close it. And open it and just let it cool a little bit. I don't open them right away because I let it cool a little bit. I don't know, just to prevent some ghosting. I heard somewhere that if you remove your ink right away or your butcher paper right away, you might experience some ghosting. And I can see right here, I don't know if the camera is able to show it, the ink goes through your paper, and that's what it tells you that you have transferred all your ink through your item. Right, I'm gonna wait a few seconds here for that to be cool. Okay, I'm gonna start removing a little bit. It still is a little bit warm, but it's not too warm. So I'm just gonna start removing the tape right here, just carefully. And right here. And let's see what we got. It still is a little bit warm, but not too warm. I am able to touch it and not burned. So my fingers, I'm just using the gloves, I don't know, I guess I'm spoiled a little bit. But look at this. My God, colors are amazing. Love the colors, love the picture, love the image. It just came out nicely done. Well done with those settings. We did an amazing job. I really hope that you get these results, and I really hope that you try it sometime just for you to see how nice and vivid and bright these colors are. I really hope that you try it sometimes using these settings. That way you can achieve wonderful results.